Hi, I'm Embers Tide, he, him. Welcome to Smallfolk, a live-action custom D&D 5e adventure module brought to you by Inside Check Podcast. And welcome back to the Valley, where heroes come in all sizes. Today we pick back up with Jink, Howee Leafears, Abendstern Leafears, Long Sparkly Trail, and Wensleydale Beestinger, as they support the Mousefolk tradesman Tufts on an adventure seeking the mystical, legendary lost community that produces Lavender Lone honey. Thank you for tuning in. We hope you enjoy the show.
So, now, where we were when we last left off. The night had settled, everyone had eaten, campfire had fallen, and our brothers were deciding to go further down into the tunnel out of this kind of more open cavernous area that has been kind of, I know, not a word, that has been formed by this underground river. Now, you are able, everyone's asleep, everything seems fine. There are just slight embers of the fire kind of crackling as you, Howee, lead your brother down into the other half of the cave on the other side of this. Tell me your intentions and tell me how you guys are going to play this.
So when we're out of eye line and earshot, or when I think we are, I'm going to kind of, I don't know how to summon Willow, so I'm just going to kind of like knock on the honey pot, rub it a little bit, just be like, psst, Willow, I want you to meet somebody.
Oh, God.
So
He's been at the honey again. He always starts talking to ghost mice when he's in the honey.
You open it up, you knock on it, you open it up, and then nothing happens for a second. And there's a beat.
In which I say, honestly, Howee, I'm disappointed.
And then there's a voice that comes from behind you, Abendstern, that says, well, life seems to be filled with disappointment sometimes, but I don't really think that this is necessarily the case for one. And Howee, behind your brother, you can see the apparition of this small mouse, half your size, floating in the air. Very, like, big, fluffy ears, all very wispy and ethereal, who's just kind of floating. And she says, and she takes a minute and she looks around and she says, oh, I've been here. We're getting closer to the Lone.
Ah, good. Okay, so I say, Abendstern, brother, we've seen a great many things in our journeys. I think this may be the first time you've ever met a mouse spirit that lives in a honey pot, but that is what I have found. I want us to keep it a secret just because I fear that some in our party might be a little bit put off by the concept that we're traveling with a soul from beyond the veil of mortality. But I would like you to meet Willow. Willow, meet my brother, Abendstern Leafears.
She says, I would shake your hand, but I don't, my grasp on the physical isn't what it used to be. Hi, I'm Willow.
I look at Willow. I don't respond to her. I turn to Howee and just say, are you out of your mind? How do you know if this isn't an evil spirit? You fool! This thing has been with us this whole time, and it might be an evil spirit.
Well, yeah, but Willow knows this path. Willow knows the Lavender Lone. Willow may be able to help guide us and potentially avoid some of the dangers that can happen when you're deep underground in a tunnel for 3 days.
I don't respond to Howee. I turn to Willow and ask, How do I know that I can trust you?
That's a good question, and I guess my question is how willing are you to see beyond what you see now? You're a man of religion?
I am a cleric, yes. So I live in the unseen.
Her hands come up and they move. The way they move, they almost move like curtains in the wind. They kind of move up and then they move up again and kind of come here. And she says, then if you don't mind, and her hands hover along the side of your long face, and for a minute you're not where you are anymore, and you are in a wide room carved out of a tree, surrounded by white mice in purple robes, and you see them preparing a small girl mouse to go on a trip. And then it cuts down into a travel, and you see her going through this long tunnel, and you see that her cart has broken, and so she spends a long time trying to pull it through. And you see the next part, you are back in your campsite, but the cart's remains are where they were, and she is sleeping beside it, but she's not sleeping. And then it's like she moves her hands back in your back where you were, and she says, I only got so far, and your brother has promised me to take me farther. I just want to see things beyond the lone. I wish you no harm.
Who were those mice in purple robes?
Oh, you won't meet those ones, but you'll meet you'll meet the new ones. They're the mice that work at the Lone. They were my family. None of them are there anymore. They've all since died. But if you're going towards the Lone, you'll meet the ones that keep the hive now.
All right, I trust you for now, but no! If you pull any devilish deeds on us, I will use the full capabilities of my magic on you. Understood?
Well, I can't say I won't do anything, and I can't stop you. I don't know how I'm tied here. Maybe by the pot, maybe not, but for now I'll follow you, and I promise you and your brother and your friends no harm.
Then we shall protect you.
Thank you. It's been a long time. That sounds very nice. And she kind of turns to Howee and she says, is there anything else? I thought you were going to open me again when open up my home again when we got to the Lone, or when we got above ground.
Well, two things. One, I wanted to make sure you were still okay, and just to say hello. And secondly, we're
Hello.
coming into an area that's a little bit more claustrophobic, and I'm not used to being in such enclosed spaces. And, as someone who flies around most of the night, it's a little bit nerve-wracking. So I wanted to ask, do you recognize, are we getting closer? Is there anything that we should be on the lookout for as we get closer to your home?
She looks around and she says, No, you're closer. I'm sorry, it gets thinner. We're small, and the tunnel was built for us. And she says, your big friends might have to might really have to crouch a little bit, at least for the last part. But no. What stopped me was normal. There's nothing that you should necessarily be worried about. There's a rumbling underground that kind of
what is
shakes. Oh, the things that live beyond this space, the things that live in the earth. They're fine.
Okay.
Sometimes they're not. Sometimes, but I haven't seen one in many times. They just move.
Well, as long as they don't move through our tunnel.
Well, it's just very nice to see you again, Willow.
Thank you.
If you'd like to stretch your legs a little bit, or if you'd like to go home and rest, that's fine too. We'll take good care of you, we'll protect you, and we'll continue on our way.
Thank you. If you don't mind, I've been underground for a while. It would be nice to see some fresh air next time.
You got it.
Thank you. And she disappears.
Okay.
The pot is still open, but she just kind of like fades into the air.
So I just kind of go to Abendstern and I say, my biggest fear is that if the tradesman mouse knows about this, that he is going to try to take Willow and going to try to do something against Willow's will. And should that happen, I just feel like a ghost mouse is a good ally to have. That's why I want to keep it secret. It's really the only reason. But I just couldn't tell anybody while he was around. You saw him and how excited he got when he saw the pot the first time. I just want to be careful with that one.
Brother, you're right. I don't trust that mouse. He seems so nervous all the time. All right. We will keep this secret for now. But, the moment that spirit shows any sign of being not an ally, we tell the group and we deal with it.
Agreed. You are always wise in these things. And I think we just finish our watch. That's all I really wanted to do.
Yeah, so the watch passes. There isn't the same kind of... There isn't the same kind of root systems above ground. You've gotten too far down. So, unfortunately, you might not be able to hang upside down this evening. You might have to lie on the ground, which is the worst way for a bat to sleep.
That sucks.
I would imagine. Yeah, I assume it would be like this. Just down, and then back up. Like, I feel like the physics are just having to be that way.
Vampire physics?
Yeah, I feel like it's a part of the gig, right? Vampiric physics. If anyone wants to write those D&D rules, just at me. I'm game. Let's see, Wensley. So you, they kind of tussle you awake. You don't wake up. So Sid does, and then Sid tussles you and gives you a bit of a poke and a bit of a nibble, which gets you up.
Sure.
And I would like you just to roll. I would like you to roll 2 perception checks for me, please.
Okay.
Yep.
The first is going to be a 19.
Awesome.
The second is going to be a 5.
Perfect. Okay, so you're wide awake. You hear everything. You hear the water. You hear slight, like there's still odd rumblings. They're not as frequent. It's just like kind of off in the distance. And then it gets really boring. Super quick. The water steady, just that. It's almost that ambient music app that everyone buys now.
Right.
That is like, you're just nodding on and off. And Sid actually crawls onto your shoulders and with his mandibles kind of holds onto your head. And when your head gets down, he kind of holds it back up again. So your eyes open up again. and you look for a few minutes, and then that happens again. Over enough time, your watch passes this way, but it passes without problem.
Okay.
And Sid, is excellent at keeping time, and figures that gives you kind of a bit of a nudge to your time is up, and you can awaken Jink and Howee for their part of the watch.
Sounds good. He's going to do that without any sort of incident or trouble. Just go over and give Jink a poke.
Perfect. Jink, can you make 2 perception rolls for me, please? Also, the finger out with the T. Fantastic.
When in doubt.
What?
Fingers out. What?
Fingers.
When in doubt. When in doubt, pinky out.
Pinky out.
Sir.
That's what I meant. Dude, come on.
That's what I heard. That's what you said.
Yeah. Anyways, can you make 2 perception rolls for me, please? Because it is your turn for a watch.
That's a 14. And
Like
that is
this.
a 21. I will roll my dice with my pinkies out.
Perfect. All right.
I just want everyone
I love
to
it.
know that even though my camera is off, I am also holding my pinky out while I drink.
Y'all making
water
fun of me.
Oh, good.
That's how I was
Amazing.
raised.
I'm not
No, I
making
love
fun
it.
of you. I'm participating.
No, I loved it.
We're joining
it.
you.
I
I
was
wanted,
making fun of you.
That's
Yeah,
not mockery.
I was making fun of you. Shiny's making fun of you. So, everyone is fast asleep. It is clear that everyone is sleeping as well as possible. And about halfway through your watch, you hear like the rumbling sounds become more consistent. And from the way that you haven't come yet, there's just the ground begins to shake, and it begins to shake even more. And from that entrance, it almost looks like rock itself is kind of moving out in a thick way. But what you see, like first you hear it and it gets louder and louder, and you just hear like a, and then as it gets closer and closer, you see hundreds of bugs that look, they're about the size of a watermelon. And they're flat on the bottom and they're round on the top, and they have these shells that kind of intersect at different spots. And these potato bugs, just en masse, are moving through this space. And they're kind of moving out of this section, out of this space, and they're kind of coating the walls up and around. And then they are going up and down through more of the tunnel that you kind of came out, and there's kind of a shaking around you, and then all of a sudden from the ground you can kind of see that there are some of these potato bugs that are kind of like digging their way up from the earth around you and your friends. And at this point, I would like everyone who isn't awake to roll a perception check at disadvantage for me, please. So, Wensley.
That's a 4.
A 4. You are
Wait.
fast asleep.
How does disadvantage work?
You roll twice, and you take the worst number.
Oh, that first roll was so good.
Exactly. That is why.
At least you're getting a solid night's rest.
All right, so Shiny for the podcast.
Until you get eaten by
rolled,
bugs.
5.
It's true.
Okay, and Embers, what'd you roll?
Howee got a 6.
Okay, and Abendstern, what'd you roll?
5.
Okay. So everyone, you are still asleep, and you all.
Actually, no, never mind.
No, tell me.
I think the lowest. Never mind. That's insight. My bad. Go ahead.
Okay, I see what you're saying. So you all are asleep, and Jink, you watch as 20 of these bugs emerge from the ground around the camp, and they're just kind of crawling. And you watch them. One of them crawls over a pack and has a pack accidentally attached to it, and it starts pulling the pack along with it. you see one crawl. You see a few crawl up and over the cart. They're just going in the direction that they're going. And all of you who are asleep, one of them accidentally crawls over top of you, and the movement of your body startles it. And one, yep. Yeah, you all take 3 damage as they accidentally bite you. And you wake up with these potato bugs on you. As now, Shiny, what is your armor class? Because you're in your shell.
Yeah, I was just gonna
So
look
I'm
at
gonna-
something different than normal.
You know what? Tell me what it is.
So it looks like 17.
I'll roll twice on you.
It's 21 when I'm in my shell.
You know what? Okay, so I did roll a 19 first, but they don't have that plus to attack. So you feel, you're asleep, and you hear like on your shell, you hear like a tick, 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 and it just acts to you like stone. Everyone else who is breathing, the rolls were high enough that that the bugs startle when all of a sudden they're on someone. And Wensley, Abendstern, and
I'm
Howee,
just
you take
watching
3
you guys.
damage. As you wake up, yeah, you are watching all of a sudden these bugs kind of crawl up, not move around your friends, but over, and then just like all of a sudden you hear like a as these things just like bite them for a second. And Jink, I'm going to give you the first reaction to this whole thing.
I think Jink will be startled at first as they initially emerge, and then just kind of slowly draw out his yew wand with one hand, and in the other hand he'll just kind of hold it out and cast Produce Flame in his hand. And
Nice.
Are
you doing anything?
I'm
with
just
this
kind
one?
of like holding it out towards the charge, hoping that it will deter some of these potato bugs. Initially. Yeah.
Okay. Totally. You, so you have this flame, and you see, like, the ones that have, there's 20 of them in your campsite right now. So there are kind of, like, 10 behind your friends.
Okay.
Like, they're kind of coming from all directions. And the ones that were coming at you, right, that had either moved in ways that have passed your friends, but you're kind of in their way of the tunnel that they're going, see the flame and move around you like a river. And for the first time, you see them kind of part ways, right? You also see some that, because of the nature of the campsite, can't get around the campfire itself. You also hear Tuft kind of yell, "Ah!" as he is also bit by one of these things, and he throws one, like he gets up and whips it, and it lands in the fire, and it immerses itself in flame, and it immediately scurries, and it touches 5 more of them, and 5 of them are now also on fire, and and moving in a new erratic pattern. And at this point, we're going to roll initiative to fight some bugs with our first combat.
So does Howee just wake up and see dozens of like foot-long hoagies in front of him?
Yeah, you basically see these very long, like half basketballs made out of shell that are moving all over the place, and one has just bit you already. So
I'm
it
gonna
ain't
bite him
good.
back. I'm gonna eat him.
So here's how we're going to do this. I'm going to ask first who, if anyone got over 20. We're going to go down.
Abendstern did.
Hey.
Oh, meow, meow,
I rolled a
meow,
natural
meow.
20. Look at that. Boom.
Abendstern, awesome.
What the hell?
19 to 15.
Howee got 17.
All right. Anyone else? No? Okay. 14 to 10. All right.
Got 5.
10 to 5.
We got 5. We
Felicity
got
got
matching
5.
initiatives again.
5?
Snap.
Okay. Nice. All right. Who's what's your dexterity score? Shiny?
-1.
-1. Okay. So we'll say Jink, and then we'll say LST. Long sparkly trail. And my good river friend, what'd you get?
I did roll the other natural, the other extreme of what a die can do.
Wow.
And
That's where the
I
fun part
think,
comes in.
just for flavor, my argument is going to be that this little bite is going to be not too unfamiliar to how Sid sometimes interacts with Wensley while he's asleep. So it takes him a minute to realize that that's not what's happening until he hears everyone else getting up and making the noises of beginning combat.
Incredible. Okay, so Abendstern, you have woken up with a shock. You've got a bug on the part of your armor, like it's like bitten part of your neck, and it's still trying to scurry on top of you. And you see like at least 10 of them kind of saddling towards you and your friends. And you can't tell, you just woke up. You can't tell what these things are doing. And they seem to be on the roof. They seem to be all over the place. What do you do?
So the ones coming at us, are they? Is there a group in front of me?
Yeah. Basically, the way that you wake up, there is 10 of them, kind of in front of you and the rest of the party. And I'm gonna say that Jink is a little further back, and the remaining 10 are kind of surrounding everybody. Like, you notice behind you that there is more light than normal. And there is a patch of these bugs that are on fire. There's 5 of them that are currently aflame, and they still seem to be moving, which is a problem.
Okay, since I'm first, I'm gonna cast Bless on my my bros here. I'm gonna cast Bless on. I get to do 3 creatures, so I'm gonna do Howee, Jink, and Shiny.
Okay.
So yeah, do I need to roll for that?
You shouldn't.
No.
Okay.
No.
So yeah, so that means that y'all 3 now, before the end of the spell, you can roll a d4 and add the number to attack or saving throw.
Incredible.
And it lasts
that is-
for a minute, which is 10 rounds of combat.
Awesome.
Yeah. And that is not, that's an action spell, right? Like, so that's basically how
Yes.
you're spending your turn.
Yeah, that's my
Incredible.
turn. Yeah.
Awesome. Okay. Do you want to move anywhere? Do you want to move to the water? Do you want to move to an entrance? Do you want to move farther away from this horde? You're kind of surrounded by bugs right now.
Well,
in this campsite.
since I do have a shield and a mace and half plate, I'll take up a defensive stance and try and take some of the brunt of whatever punishment these things can push out.
I love it. Howee, you wake up hurting, and then you see your brother. You feel a little bit better. You can tell your brother's magic, and there are a bunch of bugs, and some of them are on fire. What are you going to do?
So I still think Howee wants to eat him. So is there one on me that just bit me? Is it kind of like...
There's one like right on, like you got your nice fancy coat, and it was able to get under a little bit of it, and it's just like it like bit. Yeah, like you wake up and it's like right here, and it just like bit you hard. So yeah.
All right, well, I'm going to try to take out my short sword and... Or I guess it's right on me. It might be kind of awkward.
You can... I would say that you could either use your sword to, like, stab this way or to, like, kind of do a pry cut up if you so desired, you know?
I think it's more natural and intuitive for him to use his dagger because it's right on him. So he's going to take that sucker out and just try to run this bug through.
I love it. All right. So take a roll.
And I'm going to do that. That is a 14 plus...
You hit.
I hit it.
Yeah, 100% you hit
And I think I'm going to try and do some sneak attack damage on this sucker, because he's right up on me.
Yep. Okay.
Alright.
So roll that extra d6.
Alright, so it's... My d4 got a 4 plus 3, so that's 7 for the dagger plus 2d6.
Ooh. Yeah, this thing pops, man.
I'm gonna eat this bug, man. That's another 10. So if I
Yeah.
can skewer it like a kebab, I'm just gonna take a nice hearty chomp out of that potato bug.
You just get it out, and it just kind of like deflates a bit on your dagger, and yeah, you can take a big bite. It leans heavy on your dagger. It is a watermelon sized.
Yeah, this is like tonight we feast.
Yeah. You got something good, right? You're gonna eat well afterwards. So one of these bugs is done. And now, Jink, it is your and High's turn. What do you do?
I do have my flame in my hand and my
You have your
wand,
flame in your hand. You have your U wand.
What I would like to do
Yep.
first is throw my ball of flame at one of the bugs that's already on fire. Just fully roast it.
Okay. Yeah,
And-
totally.
So that is going to be
I love it.
a ranged attack and then a d8. So let's see if we can make this happen. Oh, that is a 7. Does that hit? No.
No, it's like you think where the fire is gonna come is gonna work, and you can't tell if the bugs move out of the way of the fire or if they're just like every other bug is moving like a steady stream towards the way that you came, and these bugs that are on fire are moving erratically and in fear, and so they're skittering onto and over themselves, and somehow a gap forms where your ball of flame just
dang.
goes and kind of hits the ground. What does
Well, I
High do?
actually happen to have a bonus action thing I can do too, and I would like High to help me. So,
Ooh, there you go.
with my
I love it.
now freed up hand, paw, I will reach into a pouch and pull out 3 glowing pebbles and hand 2 of them to High. And the one that I still have, I would like to throw at someone, and this is called the Magic Stone cantrip.
Yes.
This is
Perfect.
better. This is a 17.
I love
Okay.
it.
That definitely hits. Tell
Okay.
me the damage of this magic
Yeah,
stone.
I'll just try to
To the fire ones? Are you still
clear
hitting
these folks out. Ooh.
them? Yeah.
So that is a 6 plus a 2, so that's 8 damage. Oh, this cantrip's cool.
8 damage. All right. So
Spider.
it is a really cool cantrip. You throw it, and you see that it like cracks the shell of this fire one, and it just stops moving. It is still kind of awash in flame, but a single one of them has stopped moving, and the flurry of these fire bugs continues. When now 4 of them are kind of skittering around and trying to get away from each other and away from the fire that is slowly killing them. LST, it is up to you.
So I want to. She's gonna slowly, especially because she had such a terrible initiative, slowly poke her head out of her shell and kind of look around. And she's gonna try to find some sort of cluster of these bugs and cast Moonbeam. Words are hard.
Oh, yes.
And try not to hit her fellow critters, but just the bugs. So that's a con save.
There is a patch ahead of Abendstern, like 10 of them, that I would say you would, it's a 5-foot radius,
Yeah.
right? For the circle. I would say that you would at least be able to hit 6 of them.
Yeah, let's do that.
Just because of how tightly packed they are, right? Kind of like hitting right in the center if you wanted to. A con save. What is the con save of, what do I need to hit?
It's a 12.
Yeah. Okay. So, 1 second here. Fail. 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 Fail.
What?
Fail. All of them fail.
Oh
Every single
my
one of
goodness.
them
Nice.
fails that save.
That's-
Yeah. There. I rolled super bad.
That is great news. So they're each going to take 12 damage then.
Oh yeah. Describe to me how your druid magic works and where the light comes from, because you're in darkness, right? So how does this moonbeam, does it come from a lantern placed on your shell? Is there something where your magic it radiates from?
She does have a lantern, so I like that idea because she's got the lantern with the spider on top.
Yeah.
So maybe she says something to the little spider and he goes up and lights the little lantern. And usually I imagine when she casts her spells, she like rubs an eyeball on, she's got her spell focus is a pearl that's somewhere like on her shell. She just like goos up this pearl. But I imagine like everything she does, it's probably very sparkly. So whatever the moonbeam looks like, it's just sparkles.
It's okay, so like you do this thing, you say something to the spider with its nightcap still on, like goes up to the little lantern, opens it up, and as it opens it up, the physical light version of glitter kind of erupts out, right? Like if glitter could be weaponized into some kind of giant laser, it just kind of out.
God help us all.
And you hear the best thing that I can equate to it, it sounds like popcorn as these things just go, as every single one of them just bursts. And Howee, it smells delicious, but all 6 of them are dead.
Nice.
Wow.
Those, yeah. That was incredible.
Yay.
I was getting ready to do something on my next turn, but thank you.
There's still 4 coming your way.
Okay.
So, but yeah, no. There's still like, you guys have taken some, but there's still some to go. Now, let's see. Bugs. It is actually the bug's turn. So, what I'm gonna say is that the 4 bugs that are still within that pile are coming towards you, Abendstern, and you've placed yourself heartily in front of them, and so they don't have any other. 2 of them are able to kind of make it around you, and the other 2 kind of naturally kind of crawl up you, and then realizing you're alive, defensively try and bite. Ooh, 1 nat 20 actually, and 1 nat 1 actually. So what we will do is one of them does you a total of 8 damage as it just like hits a real bite. Hey Embers, look, it does a real bite, man. I'm wearing the shirt that you made for charity. Yeah. It does a bite. This thing is my favorite. And
You make it look good.
Oh, dude, it's so freaking comfy. So 8 damage, and then the other one just hits Pauldron and actually tumbles off of your body and lands on its back. So its legs are just lumbering around in distress. And the rest of them, Jink, you see that the rest of them are kind of just moving with this current, except the ones that are aflame are running into other ones, and those ones are now catching a flame. And so they are, and then those ones start moving erratically. So there was 4 that were afire, and now there are 8 that are covered in flame. And Wensleydale, one of the fire ones, bumps into you. And so that one bumps into you, and it without meaning to, it does you 3 fire damage. It doesn't attack you. It just does 3 fire damage.
I also take that 3 damage without meaning to.
Yeah, and Howee, one of the fire ones runs into you as well, and does you 2 fire damage. I rolled a 17, so I assume that's gonna hit, right? Howee, what's your armor class, buddy?
Embers?
Oh, my armor class. What an interesting question.
Stall for time. D&D Beyond, everybody.
D&D Beyond. 15.
Yeah, so you take 2 fire damage. As this thing just kind of bumps into you and the fire hits you. Tuft is... You see Tuft has 2 of them on him aflame. He's flailing wildly, and he has no idea what to do. And he's just kind of running and he throws 2 of them off. Now, Wensley, it is your turn. What are you going to do?
So, first thing, Wensley is going to command Sid to fly over to Tuft and basically try and body block for him.
Okay, nice.
The way the rules work, I can't actually issue commands other than movement to my companion without using an action, and I have something else I want to do with my action, but he's gonna get in the way for Tuft.
Okay.
And now I want to know if there is another, is there still a cluster of bugs somewhere where I could get a decent number of them with one ability?
Yeah, there's the, kind of in the gap between the brothers and you and, LST and Jink, there's the ones that are aflame, are working, they cluster, and then they separate, and then they cluster again. These 8 of them, the rest of the pack are moving almost ambivalently,
okay.
right? But these ones are the problem currently.
All right, so he's going to try and, time his shot until they're as clustered as possible. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to take a longbow shot at them after casting the spell Hail of Thorns. So this spell lasts for up to a minute, but the next time I hit with a ranged weapon attack, it creates a rain of thorns that sprouts from the ammunition. And in addition to the normal effect of the attack, within a 5-foot radius, any creature must make a dex save or take 1d10 piercing damage.
That's dope.
Amazing.
So I might...
That's so dope.
My plan A here is to skewer one of these bugs with the arrow, and then create bug kebabs with the magical spikes that come out across the...
God, I love it.
So let me roll my attack damage,
Kabugs.
or my attack
Kabugs.
to hit.
Bugs.
Yes. That's gonna be a 26.
Ooh.
Yeah, that hits. Oh my god.
All right.
26.
Yes.
Oh, that's disgusting.
I have +7 to longbow attacks because that's my
brag.
boy. Too
Because
late.
of Ranger.
Messing around.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So that hits.
So the longbow shot itself is going to do 11 damage to its target.
Yep. So that one just pin it to the ground.
Uh-huh.
It just stops moving.
And
It's
then
like one of those entomologist slides with the bug with the skewer through it.
oh yeah,
There's
absolutely.
even a little paper.
Yeah,
with
yeah,
its, with its species on it. Yep, for sure. And then from it just goes.
Yeah.
And thorns. So
Right. So
I'm gonna say how much. It's 1d10 damage.
it's 1d10 if they succeed on a dex save. It's half if they don't.
Okay, so I have in my notes here, I rolled it before, but since I made this creature, the potato bug naturally fails all of their saves if they're forced to make one. So instead of rolling, I'm just going to say that they fail their saves.
Okay.
And roll your damage. Because we're running the clock here a little bit.
Sure. So they're going to each take 3 damage.
Okay, so you see them, actually, this is how we'll play it. You see them take the damage, and then the damage does part of it, and the fire does the rest of it.
Okay.
As these frantic bugs kind of run themselves out, and the fire just kind of burns them into place.
Right.
And before, well, Abendstern, why don't you see there's like a couple that are on you. So why don't you attack those ones right now? And then we'll go from there. So why don't you take an attack on the ones that were biting you before?
Me?
Yeah.
Sorry. Yes, attack. Sorry, wife texting. Bad.
Hey, all good. No, wife texting good. All good.
What am I rolling here? It's been so long.
So you're rolling a d20. Are you going to attack with your mace?
Yes.
Okay. And then you're going to add your attack bonus to that. It should be beside your mace. It'll be like your strength plus your proficiency score, but there might just be a number there.
Come on, D&D Beyond. Okay, so I rolled an 18.
Oh, you hit. Don't worry about it. You hit them.
And it's 1d6 plus 1, so let me...
Yep.
I hit for 5.
Okay, and you pop it like a balloon. They just, and you like hit it, and the other one that is on the ground is still on the ground, and it never rights itself. But then with the fire out, you see that the rest of them just kind of continue their migration path as if you were not all ever there. They just kind of follow. They just make their way around you. If they didn't have to make their way over you, they just kind of follow this path over the river and then through the part of the tunnel that which you came
Through the woods.
And yeah, exactly. And the rumbling kind of takes a while to die out, but this odd migration that you just seen kind of passes, and you find yourself in your campsite again, alone with like a few burnt bugs and one that is still kind of chattering with its legs up in the air.
Who do you work for?
Who sent you?
And that is where we are going to call it for this evening, because we have about 2 minutes left on our stream before we hit our time. And so I want to say thank you guys very much for spending another night in the tunnels with us. I want to congratulate Jade Lady. I hope I'm saying that correctly. Jade Lady, I am going to DM you, and we are going to get that information so I can get you your own very copy of my absolute favorite book of poetry. And I hope you don't mind some of the poetry that I have written inside that has to do with Smallfolk. So I hope you like it. And if you don't, that's cool too.
It'll be great.
Though. Spoilers from front to back, top to bottom, left to right, right to left.
There's this one that says, when Howee meets a gelatinous cube, he thinks it's nice, but it's kind of rude. Turns out he's a slimy dude, and, well, it doesn't end well after that. Actually, I'm going to have to just write that one right now if I can remember it. But thank you guys for coming. This has been a long-awaited game. This has been a rough week, and I've been really looking forward to this one. So thank you guys for everything. I'm going to tweet. I think Jerica sent the link to this shirt. It is a charity stream event, we're not a charity stream. This shirt is for charity. Ember's made it, and all of the proceeds are going to Child's Play, which is an incredible organization. Thank you to everyone who has spent some time with us today. Stay kind, stay careful. I messed that up. But anyways, it's been really good to see you. And remember, heroes come in all sizes. And thanks for joining us in the valley. We'll see you next time.
Be excellent to each other.
Party on, dudes. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Smallfolk D&D, brought to you by Insight Check Podcast. If you like what you've heard, please consider giving us a rating or a review on iTunes or whatever brought this story to your ears. And tune in next time for the continuation of the Lavender Lone party's journey through the tunnels, en route to the promised land of mouse and honey. Until next time, we hope to see you again in the valley.